Hey, this is James at JTech. Today we're going to go over disassembly and reassembly of this double-acting hydraulic cylinder. Double-acting meaning it has two ports for fluid. So you push it up and you push it back down with hydraulic fluid. It's 2,500 psi maximum range, 180 degrees Fahrenheit operating temperature. So we're going to take off these 4 retaining bolts. They're kind of long. They go down the entire body of the cylinder. Okay, we have the 4 mounting bolts off, so we can take off these end caps. This is where you would mount it. So first thing, you could do an inspection of the seal right here. Just a rubber O-ring. Looking for cracks. Generally, if you're taking it apart, you're replacing this O-ring. You can look inside. You're checking for cavitation, pitting, any obvious damage. If there's metal missing out of it, it gives you an indication that there's metal floating around in your hydraulic system, like right there. A lot of metal missing there. This one's probably a bad seal would be my guess. Well, it's allowing oxygen in there. You can check the threads on the fittings for the fluid. This would be the side to pressurize the cylinder to push it up to actually move the load. So you look for damage for the thread. The threads look okay. Section, you can adjust it, get it to wherever you need to be. You just need there's a set screw here that you loosen. You just rotate it around on the threads. Same thing, looking for damage on these threads. Any cracks to the body here, which I don't see any. And right here is the cylinder itself. Same thing, there's a seal down here. I'm checking for damage on it. Any cavitation, pitting, or anything like that on the cylinder. Some scratches. I don't see anything too crazy. Basically, the fluid's going to push on this, and that's going to push the ram up and move the load. You look in the tube. Nothing crazy. There's some scoring in there. That metal's just floating around. Same deal, checking the threads, checking the seal. Other than the scoring, that's about it. So reassembly is opposite. I'm just gonna that back in. Normally you'd lubricate the O-ring, that way it actually seals and prevent it from folding on you. So cool thing, you could rotate these end caps and you can move the fittings to wherever you need them to go. So if you have hoses on the opposite side, then you can account for that. We're going to go ahead and put our 4 screws going down the body back in. And next is just starting back our end cap, which is adjustable. It threads on. And then here's that set screw. We'll just tighten that one on down, that way it doesn't back off while it's moving any loads or anything. There we go. It's fully assembled, nothing much to it. That scoring would be something I'd be worried about. I'd probably replace the cylinder. Then you have to flush out the whole system and replace the hydraulic filter, because it's probably getting clogged with all those metallic particles. That's pretty much it. Reassembly, disassembly. Thank you for watching. Okay, so here's a breakdown. It's a PC707. It's a hose crimper used for hydraulic lines, things like that, to get that good metal crimp that's sealing and everything. I'm going to go over basic components, routing, essentially how it works. So, at the reservoir, there's a cap. Goes off, take a look at it. You can look inside, check for fluid. This one, I believe, takes Dexron 2 or equivalent. It means you could run a Dexron 6, would be the modern equivalent. They stopped making 2 in, I think, the 80s, I believe. So from that, comes over to the hydraulic pump itself. You have your power here, and this is how you actuate it. So essentially, pumps fluid through here, creates the restriction. Restriction creates the pressure. The pump just creates flow. It goes to back here, and it acts as a single acting cylinder back here. The single acting means that there's only fluid pushing on one side of that cylinder. If you look down here, I don't know if you could see them, but there's some springs on either side of the cylinder, and that helps to retract the cylinder once you relieve the pressure on it. So it pushes down, and when you stop pumping fluid to that cylinder, the springs pull it back up. Essentially, it pushes down into these metal, call them dies, and it pushes them together, and it creates that good crimp on the hose. So I just looked it up. That pump is capable of 4,600 psi. That's its maximum operating pressure. Go any higher than that, you're going to have stuff blown up on you. And you can push out stated 50 assemblies an hour was its production rate. Also looked it up. It says to replace the fluid for general shop conditions every 300 hours, and the fluid levels should just be to the top of the reservoir. So you're basically just topping it off, just for your preventative maintenance and inspections on it. All right, some things to look for: leaks around these fittings. Not a good thing. Leaks around the crimps. Those usually, they tend to leak a lot. up here as well, where it goes back into the cylinder. Checking for, leaks, damage to the line, things like that. Looking at the pump, making sure the wiring is good. If I remember right, it's 115 amps should be running to it.